Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Xinfin Network, aka XDC. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first and foremost, the overall market is green today as everybody is getting a little bit excited. I am getting a little bit concerned simply because, of course, Bitcoin options do expire today, and we are ushering into the weekend. As you guys know, I do not trade weekend price action. I do not buy weekend price action either. And yeah, I'm really kind of looking at, some lower price action. Let's see if we do get it in terms of volatility. And also, yes, I'm going to be addressing that in this video. In fact, I've actually been seeing a large amount of individuals commenting on my videos saying, why do you care if the price action goes a little bit lower? Why not just do those major buys now? I have been averaging in. I have been averaging into, Xinfin over the last couple days. As you do see, we just started to kind of trade sideways. And the reason why I have been waiting for some monumental lows to be hit, like for example, going back to February, for an example, like 2 cents, or even going back to January for almost 1 cent, like around this range here, that would be huge opportunities for us to really kind of ape in. Again, I'm not blowing my entire stack at one price point just because it doesn't make sense to. That's why I have been DCAing in, and my major buys are at ranges like this at almost 1 cent for Xinfin. Because again, the upside potential there, just to the recent all-time high, you're looking at an 18x opportunity from there alone. So, and also just going off of tokenomics and also fundamentals of XDC, we know that XDC is going much higher than 18 cents. So to me personally, it's a no-brainer move to kind of wait for some lower price action to see if we do get it and have capital on the sidelines instead of getting to those price actions. And I've already blew all my money around this low here. And now I don't have any money to buy this dip. So to me, DCAing in and having a major buy target is the best way to kind of succeed within these trades. So I hope that kind of clarifies on why I have been waiting patiently for those lows to be targeted. Now, also, TradeTech did update their website. Now, is this huge for XDC or anything? No, not at all. But I do think that it is really kind of nice to see TradeTech's position within this market, as we already have known about. But we do see them mentioning their partners in terms of the TFDI, which we will be mentioning in this video. We will be addressing as well. We do see the ITFA, Microsoft, etc. But I also do like the idea that they are mentioning, how they are bridging the technology gap within the $15 trillion trade finance market. We do see them mentioning the 1.5 billion process volume that they already have, the 30,000 plus invoices financed, and of course the 5,000 plus corporates funded. We also do see them mentioning how they provide powerful data tools and analytics built for banks and institutional investors. They are also mentioning the cost as well, the cost efficiency of utilizing something like TradeTech. And to me, I think that in terms of their technology stack, it's perfect for what we are focusing on within trade finance. And I know that it kind of gets annoying hearing me talk about trade finance a lot with XDC, but it's almost like cross-border payments with XRP. And, it's the biggest market that they are going after. But also, we did see XDC Foundation quote this tweet from World Economic Forum, or I should say this article from World Economic Forum, and we're going to jump into it. We're going to dive into it. So here we go. How investing in trade finance can be profitable and help SMEs thrive. Now, we've talked about SMEs and basically how they get thrown under the bus in regards to even cross-border payments. And trade finance is, no better. We actually do see down here the trade finance gap has reached $1.7 trillion. And SMEs are disproportionately affected. New technology can enable the transformation of trade finance assets into profitable capital market products. A multi-stakeholder approach is needed to ensure SMEs have greater access to affordable trade finance. And of course, we do see down here, trade constitutes the backbone of every economy. 80 to 90% of global trade requires financing. And of course, SMEs amount for 90% of companies and more than half of the jobs worldwide. It's often those SMEs are underserved and lack access to affordable trade finance. And you guys might be wondering, why? Well, we're going to, dive into it. So let's actually jump in and let's actually look at a few things. So they are mentioning, trade finance and how they want to expand access to it. We do see, but why is it trade finance is only an asset class that doesn't get distributed from bank balance sheets? Institutional investors had access to repackaged mortgages, credit, blah, blah, blah. It's just because of the lack of digitization. We do see the lack of digitization and automation so far. Funny thing how they are mentioning automation and digitization. TradeTech, their technology, trading automation. They're also focused on automation within trade finance as well. I don't know why they are not mentioned in that there, but we found out that they are focused on automation as well from like Xinfin. But we do see so far made any distribution effort too costly for this low risk and low yielding asset class. So in terms of these two, they ran into a problem in terms of it being too costly, and that is definitely something to look at. And I do think that in terms of like Xinfin, it will probably definitely fix that problem. I don't believe that Xinfin would be too expensive to utilize within this area. But we also do see down here digitization, workflow automation and programmatic repackaging can now reduce those friction costs and provide efficient access to trade finance. And we also do see down here they want to improve technology literacy and collaboration, avoid regulatory uncertainties through, frontier regulation. They are also mentioned XDC up here as well. Like the first of such transactions has been successfully concluded with TradeTech distribution technology in the blockchain platform provided by XDC Network. This breakthrough taps into investors' appetite for investing in tokenized assets, including those related to SME operations. It assembles receivables and provides a fast and secure way for asset managers to track the related trade transactions. And yeah, I think that when we really kind of look at, for example, XDC and even TradeTech, that's like the huge area to really kind of focus on because they basically solved all of these inefficiencies, and it's not that costly at all for them to implement this as well. So this is like a huge area to focus on. Also, we do see down here, one first step to bridge this gap is to foster a cross-industry dialogue, the TFDI. Now, this is where things get interesting. So in regards to this, article, the rest of it is really kind of just talking about like the ESG market that is $2 trillion that they will basically focus on as well and things like that. But I want to focus on the TFDI here because this is where we really kind of, really put into perspective how huge XDC actually will be. So we come over here to the TFDI members. Now, obviously, asset managers, these are huge names behind like the asset management companies. For example, like Santander, for example, Pemberton, etc. But we also do see like large banks. Now, this is interesting because we do see some very large banks that we know are already, connected to other digital assets that we are invested in. Deutsche Bank, Commonwealth Bank, London Forfeiting, Rabobank, Standard Chartered, Standard Bank, SMBC. I don't know if I said Standard Bank twice, but I do apologize if I did. ANZ as well, Banco do Brazil. We also see HSBC, Lloyds Bank, ING as well, QNB. These are very large names. But also we do see some brokers, insurers, and then of course we do see non-bank originators, which of course in regards to like accelerated payments. I think I made a video on accelerated payments with XDC and really kind of talked to you guys about the scope of this company. Very large company, similar to like, in regards to like XRP, Finastra, Tranglo as well. Like they have some pretty large connections. And of course, there's other, connections here as well. And then we do see like the sponsors, ITFA. Again, ITFA is basically connected to almost all of these trade finance giants in regards to like, there we have the ITFA just there in regards to partners of TradeTech. But also ICC, International Chamber of Commerce, which we are going to be talking about here in a second. And of course, technology providers, XDC is right there. TradeTech is also right next to it. SureComp and Coriolis. These are also connected to XDC in some sort of way. I've made a video on that as well. Of course, service providers as well. TFDI, very large name. Again, I mentioned to you guys the scope of some of these names, and this is focused on trade finance. They all meet and discuss the needs here in regards of this area, and that's basically what we are seeing here in regards to like the TFDI, for an example. And I think that this is great for XDC because again, they are a technology provider, so they will be utilized at the forefront of this market. Truly showing you guys the value, that XDC will unlock. And this is definitely a major need from XDC's side, as we do see like, it's ripe for disruption. It's just that, digitization is too costly at the current moment. And I don't believe that it is too costly if you do implement something like XDC. But also, International Chamber of Commerce, like I said, ICC, very large name. We do see fintechs have progressively moved from disruptor to partner in trade finance space. And they did post this over on their website. But first off, I do just want to say ICC is also massive. 27,000 cases, 142 countries and territories. And if we go to their About page, it is even larger than that. ICC is the institutional representative of more than 45 million companies in over 100 countries. Again, when you look at the scope, this is very large companies, which is directly connected to the SME area, which is, again, there's a $1.7 trillion gap here to fill. We're not talking about just like the large market of like $15 trillion. We're actually just talking about like the $1.7 trillion trade finance gap that has affected these SMEs, which again, these are very large companies. This is 90% of companies, which again, when we really kind of look at the scope of this, I'm sure that a large amount of these companies are basically just those SMEs as well. But ICC, they did post this, as the digitization of trade gains traction, the initial concept of fintech being a disruptor in the trade finance space has progressively matured into, more of a partnership approach. Doesn't surprise me, as ICC has been, directly connected with, for example, Xinfin. And they are saying, up here, it is now widely recognized that working with and alongside technology providers will be paramount to any financial institution, global, regional, domestic, and niche. Digital solutions have not only grown exponentially in the corporate to bank or C2B space, but are as prevalent, if not more so, in the digital transformation of any bank's operational processes, delivering automated workflows, cost reductions, whilst, ensuring an optimal client experience. And again, this is also why, like, when we really kind of look at things happening around this space, like they are mentioning, fintech companies for an example, but we do know like XDC or Xinfin basically is focused on the, the fintech area as well. To me personally, like when we really kind of look at things happening around trade finance, it's no surprise to me that, at some point in time, trade finance will be fully, tokenized. It just doesn't make any sense to be looking at, paper documents anymore in the year 2022. I actually just went to the doctors with my girlfriend actually, and she showed me like all the paper documents that this place had, and they had like a wall filled with a ton of paper documents, and it's just like you could see things in the real world, and you could just be like, this would be so much smoother. It would be so much quicker if things were digitized, if things were tokenized. Like imagine how large of a dent tokenization in the trade finance area will actually make once fully implemented. I mean, they did mention, of course, TradeTech and XDC, and basically how this was huge in regards to like improving the technology and collaboration. They're talking about like security token offerings, for an example. They're saying, smart contracts allow any trading pair to settle tokens while eliminating any counterparty risk. Tokens also facilitate fractional ownership and therefore can truly democratize access to trade finance. Again, the problems that we see with a large amount of these industries is not only access, but we see like cost, scalability, settlement, things like this is like, the area that we want to focus on with a large amount of these assets. This is also why I've said like I'm focusing on utility gems, accumulating utility gems, because the upside potential on them is absolutely massive, especially when you look back on like, the moves that we've seen in regards to like just our recent highs from the summertime of 2021, or even going back a little bit to like April of 2021 or May, and you kind of compare it to where we are now. Like the opportunity in front of us is so massive, and you can definitely see where this technology is leading to and getting to, especially from like the adoption cycle on it. So I'm very, very excited for the future of not only Xinfin to, continue to see the growth of it, but also our other utility gems that we talk about so many times on this channel. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.